Okay, so this guy was sending me all these images and all this content on his atrocities and crime on a regular basis. When he did it, he will send it. And sometimes unsolicited, I didn't ask him. I mean, some of the graphic picture you can imagine, he sent them. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, why is this guy sending these things in my head? So I do talk to some of my friends like about it, but I couldn't pick my phone and be calling Nigeria to tell them about it.
Hello, it's me, Andrew, from that dating site. I just thought I'd send you this little message to introduce myself, so you know it's me and I'm real. Send me back a video message of yourself if you have the confidence.
So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. For over 2 weeks now, the media has been awash with news of Mr. Andrew, Celine Afiba. We will recall that UK returnee and suspected killer Mr. Andrew was in the business of enticing and luring young girls that he meets on the internet over to his home under the pretense of friendship or relationship. And when they honor his invites, he would beat them up, strip them naked and get them tied, rape them mercilessly and rob them, some of which he is alleged to have killed. His lead blew when he invited two ladies, Celine and Afiba, all the way from OTOKOTO to come see him in Aba. It's been over 2 months now since Celine and Afiba set out on that journey to visit Mr. Andrew, and up until now, they have neither been seen nor heard from. Mr. Andrew, who is certainly the prime suspect in the disappearance of Celine and Afiba, is said to have been killed while trying to escape in the course of being transferred from Abia State to Abuja. To confirm the truth about his death, his remains were released to the public, and I have the picture of that on my Twitter page. You can follow me there on Twitter and also on Instagram on my handle at Nezeville. If you're new here also, you're seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop all your comments down in the comment section, and stay glued because we have so much more coming your way. Today we will begin our discussion with the alleged involvement, either direct or indirect, of one of Mr. Andrew's closest friends, a man called Mr. Ben. Mr. Ben claims that he has been very close friends with Mr. Andrew for over a decade.
And Andrew has been my friend for over 10 years.
He said that they resided in the same community in the United Kingdom. And when Mr. Andrew chose to come back to Nigeria, he usually visited him whenever he came to the country.
I know him. We live in the same community in the UK. And I know quite a bit of him. So I visited when I was in Nigeria, and every time I come to Nigeria, I do go to see him in Port Harcourt.
He disclosed further that Mr. Andrew was an adopted child and that he didn't grow up with his biological parents.
And then the good thing that you guys need to know today, Andrew was actually adopted, okay? And Andrew was raised in Nigeria.
He recounted the times that Mr. Andrew had in the United Kingdom. He described him as a very successful businessman.
Andrew is a successful businessman. He's a gas heater engineer. The facts are there. He maintained almost 85% of council property in Buckinghamshire. He maintains schools. He has staffs that over 15 staff. At one point, Andrew had more than 15 vans for staff. Minimum wages for his staff, 40 grand a year. Most of his staff are British, white British, basically. Andrew is a crafted guy.
He threw more light on Mr. Andrew's criminal past, his criminal records in the United Kingdom, and he disclosed that not only Mr. Andrew was wanted in the UK for sexually assaulting a woman, he confirmed that Mr. Andrew was indeed an ex-convict and that he had done time for beating up a woman.
He was in jail. He went to jail in this country.
Okay.
He went to jail for slapping a woman. I was aware of it. Now, he was involved in an incident that took him to prison.
Mr. Ben gave accounts of Mr. Andrew's time incarcerated in the UK and how his life spiraled down after he was done with his jail sentence. He said that since Mr. Andrew was in the business of maintaining properties for the UK City Council, there was no way the government was going to continue doing business with an ex-convict, especially one tried and convicted with crimes involving violence and aggressive behavior. So he said that when Mr. Andrew got out of state penitentiary, his businesses had gone down and he fell into serious depression. He knew that given his criminal record, there was no sane country, there was no other developed country that was going to house him, even if he chose to leave the UK. And then he made up his mind to come back to Nigeria. Mr. Andrew moved back to Nigeria in 2021.
And after that prison incident, his life went like this, boom. When I see him, his life was completely a mess after he came back from prison. So that means he lost his business.
When Mr. Andrew relocated back to Nigeria, he pitched his tent in the city of Port Harcourt in Rivers State. Mr. Ben revealed that in 2022, the state CID in Port Harcourt gave Mr. Andrew a license to have a gun. If you do not know the full meaning of the SCID, it is an acronym for State Criminal Investigation and Intelligence Department. Talk about an intelligence department that runs no background checks and hands over a gun to a convicted felon. So he got the license and he owned a gun. And no, the need for this gun was not to ward off criminals and possible attempts on himself. It wasn't for his protection. He got a gun to carry out criminal, nefarious activities.
Andrew moved to PH. Andrew, the first 3 months, Andrew was in prison in PH. The same thing. Girls reported him for...
Mr. Ben divulged that what we know about Mr. Andrew was just a tip of the iceberg of who he really is when it comes to a life of crime. He recounted an incident where Mr. Andrew had thrown a girl, a young, poor girl, as he described her, all the way from his story building down to the floor. The throw was so terrible that she sustained a spinal cord injury.
And that is not just the 3 stories. There are more stories. Andrew has thrown a girl out of his balcony in Port Harcourt. Like, the girl had a spinal cord. A poor girl from UI cried. I was aware of the case, like totally aware of the cases that he's been to. When he harmed this girl and he went to cell, they give him his phone. He called me from cell and he said, I have a problem, blah, 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 blah.
He described Mr. Andrew as someone who relished crime, someone who took great pleasure in hurting people. He called him a psychopath and relayed his crime spree to a mental health disorder.
But he has a problem. Just like everyone, he has a serious mental health problem, challenges.
Who knows how much crimes he had committed in Port Harcourt that informed his decision to move to the neighboring state and the neighboring city of Aba in Abia State. But he did move and he continued his atrocities with reckless abandon. Mr. Andrew was sending pictures and videos of his atrocities to Mr. Ben on a regular basis. People had wondered in the previous video that I posted that why does Mr. Andrew keep videoing and recording his victims, making videos of these girls that he meets online? Who is he sending these videos to? Well, the answers may not be far-fetched now.
Andrew Elio stage was 6 days, and during that period, he was recording everything. I was sending to one person.
Even when he was raping Rachel, the lady who escaped, the lady who jumped the fence and had her leg torn by the barbed wire, she recounted that when he was raping her, she said that Mr. Andrew had his phone on record throughout the whole incident. Of course, she couldn't fight. He had his gun close by, but he never failed to take recordings of all he was doing, and he was sending it to a particular person.
Okay, so this guy was sending me all these images and all this content on his atrocities and crime on a regular basis. When he did it, he would send it. And sometimes unsolicited, I didn't ask him. I mean, some of the graphic picture you can imagine, he sent them. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, why is this guy sending these things in my head? So I do talk to some of my friends like about it, but I couldn't pick my phone and be calling Nigeria to tell them about it.
Even when Mr. Andrew had Rachel under siege and he took custody of her phone, scanning through and stealing from her, he went as far as going to her sent messages, going to her gallery. He stole personal and private photos and videos of Rachel that she had sent to her boyfriend. X-rated pictures and videos. He took those videos and sent it to Mr. Ben, threatening Rachel that if she dared make a sound, he had sent the videos to his blogger friend who would publish it and disgrace her and her family. Who could this blogger friend be?
And secondly, you have my video. Like, you have my...
There's a video you have in your phone. This is the girl. You have that video in your phone.
You have my video. And that's the video I
have this girl's
sent to my
video.
boyfriend. How come Andrew sent that video to you?
Mr. Ben has an entirely different narration of the incident involving Celine Afiba and how Mr. Andrew died. He said that Mr. Andrew had reached out to him the night of 8th of May, telling him that he was going to take his life, that the police had come to take him, and that he didn't hear from Mr. Andrew again until the 22nd. He admitted that Mr. Andrew sent him videos of Celine and Afiba lying on the bed, feeble and weak, and they looked like they were hot or drugged. Something wasn't right with the way they were laying.
On the 22nd, he sent me the video of Celine and the other one. They were not in any they were not doing any bam bam. So the girls were lying down. One was lying down like this, then the other one was on the other bed, but they look mashed down.
He alleged that instead of the police to have looked into the case, they were only interested in extorting Mr. Andrew, and that Mr. Andrew would always tell him how much he is paying the police, how the police is extorting him. According to Mr. Ben, Mr. Andrew had bribed or paid his way out of the Abia State Police Command, and the same day that he was released, another team who claimed they were from Abuja picked him up. Mr. Ben alleged that these policemen went to Mr. Andrew's house, had a bath, shared a bottle of wine with him, allowed him drive his car, and instead of taking him straight from Abia State to Abuja, they took him to an entirely different state, an entirely different route. They took him to Uyo in Akwa Ibom State, and they all lodged in a hotel. Mr. Ben went further to say that the police had tried extorting Mr. Andrew again, telling him that he had to pay them 3 million naira in order not to have him on chains and have this whole matter died down.
They took Andrew back to the house. Andrew took a shower, cleaned up, loaded his car. Are you listening to me? Andrew told me he requested to drive his own car. Andrew drove. I hope Harrison hear this. Andrew drove. The police did not drive.
Mr. Andrew transferred the sum of 1.5 million naira to a third-party account that they provided, and that even on the day that Mr. Andrew escaped, he was that friend that Mr. Andrew called and was telling him of the updates that he had escaped the police. Now the question has arisen. The question, I believe, is on everybody's minds and everybody's lips. People ask, dear Mr. Ben, since you knew of your bestie's several atrocities, active atrocities, I'm not talking about a past, your best friend's past, and you do not want to be a snitch, you do not want to report what he had done 10 years ago, so you chose to keep the secret. It's different. We are talking about active atrocities going on. Atrocities that you not only have knowledge of, you had evidence of. Why did you choose to stay quiet, Mr. Ben? Why did you choose to keep mute while your best friend went on a free-for-all rampage, hurting, raping, robbing, and killing women? To this question, Mr. Ben had an answer.
Now the country problem, no be Andrew, because there's so many mad people in the UK, but they don't just carry their gun. And you know they here. No be this country. But one of the segment of people I don't like on my page, that will come on my page and be telling me, why didn't you report it? Why didn't you do something about it? When he was sending you all this thing, do something about it to who? Report the matter to who? Snitch on my dangerous psychopath friend and to the police that you know he owns. Okay, so I'm taking my phone right now. I'm calling the police in Port Harcourt and I'm telling them, listen, this guy sending me these. You think they are gonna listen to me? Bless is something they were on ahead. Bless is something they were on ahead. Those of you know when they come on my page, they ask me those kind of rubbish questions. Why you know do and they blame me. They look for blame. The guy, well, is a psychopath. He's a sociopath. He's
Mr. Ben has done a great job highlighting the corruption, the decay, the inefficiencies of the Nigerian police force. And he is not wrong. On that, I very much agree. Because if we did not have a police force that is worse than mold, if we did not have a police system that was decayed beyond repair, when Rachel, this young girl that escaped Mr. Andrew, got out, some people questioned why she didn't report. Why didn't you take it to the police? You should have saved another woman. You should have saved the next girl. But she did. Rachel has given account that she went to the police in Port Harcourt to give account of how Mr. Andrew kidnapped her, how he robbed her, how he raped her, how he held her hostage for 6 whole days with a gun on her temple. She said that he would have a gun to her head while she cooked for him and cleaned, and after that he would harass her sexually, treated like a piece of filth. She reported the incident to the police in Port Harcourt, and the police told her to bring the sum of 200,000 naira to enable them fuel their car to start the investigation. That is what the police... God, I hate to disgrace my country. If you know how much it pains me when I see comments like, oh, Nigeria, what kind of... I am embarrassed. But are we going to conceal the reality, the truth? For how long are we going to conceal it? That is the fact. It's painful to say, it's painful to know, it's painful to imagine, but that is the fact. So the police asked her for money to pursue this kind of case. A police that is well funded with taxpayers' money had a serious case. A lunatic, a killer on the loose. And the care for the next victim couldn't motivate the police to take action. If you do not self-mobilize the police, forget about that case. And that was what happened to Rachel. She was given the option of paying to have her case pursued or going back to Abia State, the place where the killer that she just escaped resides. The police told her to go back and report at the police station in that state. Oh, God. So yes, I agree with Mr. Ben to that extent, that if we had a police force that works, perhaps Celine Afiba would not be missing today. We wouldn't have any cause to be discussing this. But because that criminal was not apprehended, he was left in the society to wreak more havoc on other people. But what Mr. Ben failed to highlight, what Mr. Ben failed to buttress, is his passive involvement, his indirect contribution, and the overall role he played in all of these series of crime. In the law of contracts, misrepresentation invalidates a contract. So if you and I get into a contract and I tell you that this is red, and you purchase it based on the information that I have divulged to you that this is red, and you go home and find out that this is blue, that constitutes misrepresentation in law, and that is a valid ground upon which that contract can be nullified, that is a breach of contract on the account of misrepresentation, because I have misrepresented a state of facts that is erroneous. But misrepresentation in law does not only connote a lie. In law, silence represents misrepresentation. So a tacit acquiescence in a wrong state of facts constitutes misrepresentation. Let me use this my water bottle as an example. So I am the buyer and you are the seller, and I, the buyer, say, oh my God, I love this green water bottle, and I pay you based on the impression that this is green, despite you were not the one that told me that this is green. For the fact that you tacitly acquiesced to that wrong state of facts without correcting me and telling me, no, that is blue, that also constitutes misrepresentation in law, because you had silently misrepresented that state of facts even when you knew otherwise. So your silence can be illegal. But that is even under civil law. That is even under the law of contracts, which falls under civil jurisprudence. Let us talk about criminal law. Mr. Ben, I doubt that you have spoken to a lawyer before you came online to spew this trash, because I put it to you that you are a ridiculous human being, and this is me just being modest, because I have far worse adjectives to qualify you. If it were your sister, maybe Mr. Andrew didn't know that this is your sister, and he picked her up and sent you a video of her getting tortured, getting sexually molested. Will you sit back and cross your legs and hands in the United Kingdom and tell us, oh, the police would have not done anything? Would you not have made an attempt to expose that evil, Mr. Ben? Let us go to the criminal implications. I just gave you an example under civil law to know that both under civil and criminal law, silence does not exculpate you. It implicates. Under criminal law, every single one of us has a duty to disclose a crime that is to be committed or has been committed. And suppression of the knowledge of a criminal activity, the concealment of a crime, constitutes abetting that crime. Abetting a crime does not only mean when you actively participate in it, or where you play an active role in the execution of it, or when you give assistance to commit that crime. That is not what abetting means. Even encouraging the crime is abetting. And sitting there, having Mr. Andrew send you these pictures and videos of his victims, and you condoned it, you enjoyed it, you basked in it, you encouraged it, that can be tantamount to abetting that crime. Mr. Ben could be an accessory or an abetter. And if we had a government, if we had a responsible government, they should be in talks with the United Kingdom to invite Mr. Ben to tell us more about what he knows of his friend and explain why he chose to keep it to himself. Now, these are valid points, but these are not what bothers me the most, do you know? Because I can choose to maybe try to understand with Mr. Ben and say, oh, maybe he had a point. Maybe he was scared for his life. Maybe he knew that if he exposed Mr. Andrew, no actions will be taken. Mr. Andrew will still bribe his way out and then come for him whenever he visits Nigeria. Right? Because his fear was when he visits Nigeria, he knows that he is safe and okay where he is in the UK. It's okay. So if we even choose to understand with that excuse, there is one thing that is even more worrisome to me. And the question that Mr. Ben has to be asked is why Mr. Andrew is so comfortable, so relaxed, so assured to be sending such incriminating documents, such incriminating evidence of himself to him. Hello? We're all human beings here. My friend cannot just take a video of maybe where she's killing somebody and be sending them to me from nowhere. Because she will be scared. Because she knows that I don't do such things too. Why was Mr. Andrew very free to be sending videos of himself raping girls, hurting girls, possibly killing them, and be forwarding all the videos, all the pictures to Mr. Ben? It's not an allegation. Mr. Ben confirmed it himself. He attested to that fact that Mr. Andrew was sending these things to him. And even if he couldn't report to the authorities, he couldn't scream and say, please, please, My bros, I beg, no send this kind thing to me at all again. I beg, now God I take beg you. He kept quiet, receiving them, enjoying them without saying a word. And now that Mr. Andrew is dead, he's coming out to speak about the decay in the police as though he is a hero. He knew that Mr. Andrew was wanted in the UK, was a fugitive. I do not believe that statement of he didn't know, because a man that will be comfortable to send you videos of him raping people, of course will tell you that he has problem with the law, because that's nothing. That information is nothing compared to the information that you're already privy to about him. So Mr. Ben knew that Mr. Andrew was a wanted felon in the UK, and he saw that this same wanted man was hurting people's daughters back in Nigeria. If he didn't want to report to the Nigerian police, why didn't he give a tip-off? At least I know that the UK police would keep your confidentiality paramount. Why didn't he give a tip-off to the UK police that say where this man is? This is his phone number. This is his address. This is where he's hiding. The UK and Nigeria has a repatriation treaty, and they would have picked this man and sent him to the UK to go do his time. But Mr. Ben kept quiet, and he believes that this is defense is tangible. I do hope that the authorities will look into this revelation by Mr. Ben. I'll keep my eyes widely open for that. Do drop in the comment section what you think about Mr. Ben's involvement, whether directly or indirectly, in these criminal escapades of Mr. Andrew. Do drop your thoughts, your feelings, your suspicions, everything down in the comment section. So guys, yes, we have come to the end of today's video. If you're new here, you're seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop all your comments down in the comment section, and stay glued because we have so much more coming your way. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.
How are you? How you been? How was your trip? How was your journey? You have to bring your friend. I see where I live now. I'm in Aba now. I live in Aba. I've got a new office here. I live in this great big mansion. Got 6 bedrooms. So let's talk before, not this weekend, come next weekend, okay? Save you some money. Just get a taxi, an Uber, a Bolt. It costs you about maybe 50,000 to come here, okay? So yeah, come stay 2 nights with your friend. We'll have a bit of fun. We'll sort of go out and have some food, okay? Yeah, I've got a beautiful house now. It's absolutely beautiful. It's even better than my other place. Okay? All right, girl. You take care.